Hello there, my crafty friends. It's Ashley Pfeiffer, the maker behind Stampin' AF. I am an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in Canada, and I am going to show you how I made this fun fold. I don't know if it's a fun fold or if it's a fancy fold or what it is, but it was fun to make. And I've worked out all the kinks. Doesn't it totally look like a Canadian flag when it's open? That was a happy accident because I found that without this DSP on the inside, these panels were a little too light and it just didn't seem finished to me. So I am using the Love of Leaves bundle and Loyal Leaves. And I know Loyal Leaves was, of course, this is not going to go on easily. We will make the belly band just a little bit looser this time, so that it's not so difficult to get it back on. But this kind of bouquet in the middle fits right in there. So let's get our craft on. I've got the Love of Leaves bundle, like I said, and Loyal Leaves. I think this was a bit of a sleeper in the annual catalog, but it is so gorgeous. I will link to a video that I did a few months ago using that stamp set. So I have gone ahead and prepped most of the supplies that we need. This is a piece of vellum that is 1 inch by 11 inches. That is for the belly band. We are going to be using some of this gold trim from, this one is the Wonder of the Season trim, but you could also use the Forever Greenery trim. I have die cut 2 of these leaves. Now, the first time when I made my sample, I did not do the stitching on the inside leaf and I regretted it. So we're doing it this time. So I have, these are all in the Love of Leaves bundle, and I'm using coordinating colors. This is the Plaid Tidings DSP. So I've got Cherry Cobbler, Mango Melody, Very Vanilla, and 2 of the Rich Razzleberry little spades. So I'm going to bring in my Stampin' trimmer to start. This is our card base, and currently it is 8.5 by 5.5, and we are going to score it on both ends at 2 1/8. When you are doing this type of card, it is very important that you use your bone folder to burnish those creases because you want it to be able to stay closed. And I find nothing can crease like a bone folder. So look at that. It's still popping up a tiny bit in the middle, but that's okay. So we are going to start with this bundle. Like I said, I've already die cut all the pieces, but what I'm going to do is put this in the middle. So I did this going straight up and down the last time. I think what I'm going to do this time is do it on an angle so that I don't have that tiny bit of the stem on either side. So let's go that way. I'm going to use some purple tape. You can use washi tape, you can use whatever you'd like, but it is important that you tape it down. So there is the new magnetic plate that is now available for the Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine. But even that being said, I don't have that plate yet. It's arriving tomorrow. You need your die to stay in the same spot. So you can see I rubbed a little bit of the tape on my hands just so that it wouldn't stick and pull my cardstock to shreds. I'm going to bring in my Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine, or my Mickey. We don't have a release date yet for the mini, but she will be coming. Okay, so I'm going to go through and back. I apologize for the lighting. I struggled with what I was going to do for this video all day. I have a whole bunch of projects figured out for the next little while, but none of them that I wanted to do for this video. So kind of meeting in the middle again. And before I cut that second side, to fix that. Okay, so now we are going to lift that tape without moving the die. Actually, I've got another piece of tape here, so we'll secure it and then peel this one back. So I have all these projects for the next little while, but none that I wanted to show you today. So it's now night and I'm finally recording. So this is a throwaway. And now we're going to do the same on this side. I've ordered new plates too. I can't wait. So what I do with Big Shot die cutting machine, whatever I'm using, is I will bring in one of the two new plates, and this will go in the garbage because it is, I mean, it's not warped. That's fantastic, but it leaves marks all over the place. So what I will do is this one will become my bottom plate and the new one will be the top. So when I get new plates, one of them gets used right away. The other sits and waits for a little while. Now with any kind of tape, I have found that if you pull it basically back on itself, you are less likely to get tearing. Okay, so those pieces are out. I would recommend using an adhesive eraser just to get rid of any stickiness that might be left behind. Oh, you know what I wanted to do? When I put the DSP on the inside, that was kind of a last second decision. And I thought, oh, I better put the DSP in before I do my die cutting this time. And of course I did not. So let's get that DSP out. So I'm going to grab my glue, and you want to be light-handed here because with that stitching in the leaves, the glue pokes through. Now, it's not as if we're going to glue this closed, but you still want to go light-handed. So just take your leaf, line it right up like you're doing a puzzle. And then open it up to make sure that it's going to open. And if you don't get perfect alignment, I don't think it's going to be that obvious. You definitely don't want this bit of overlap that I have. I am loving it with the angle like that. So now the next thing I'm going to do is I have a piece of my Stamparatus grid paper, and I've got my stamps from Loyal Leaves all mounted onto blocks. Before I decided to put these leaves on here, it was just a little too blank. So I'm doing Mango Melody one down here, and you could open it and have it where these run onto the back, but I just wanted the focus on the front. So I let it sit for a few seconds, give it a bit of a rock just to get all of that ink to settle into the cardstock. Clean these up after. Now I'm going to move to Cherry Cobbler. So I'm just using the coordinating inks that are in this DSP, the same ones that I've die cut my leaves out of. Kind of doing everything in reverse this time because there are a whole bunch of steps that I did after I had done the majority of it because I just wasn't happy with it. Do you ever have that? You have an idea in your head, and then when it comes to execute, you're just not, it's not like you pictured, or it's just not done. Let me know in the comments below if you ever have that. I feel like I have that all the time. So with my pumpkin pie, I'm going to stamp that off, and then I'm going to be careful that I don't dip my cardstock into that. And I'm doing half of this leaf. I was going to say the top or the bottom, but it doesn't really matter. And then I'm just going to give it a wipe. My chamois is too far away. And I didn't get the best impression there, but it kind of looks neat. I really have issues with my pumpkin pie ink pad. It doesn't hold a refill very well. have to add one to another order. Now, when I do this other leaf, I want to make sure that I don't use the same end that I used the first time. And you may want to have it where the top is on one side and the bottom's on the other. But I had already done the other side, and I kind of thought it was neat because it would be the same tree, right? Okay, so that is all of the stamping of the leaves. We're going to stamp our sentiment as well, and that's using Rich Raspberry, so I might as well do that. That's the only piece of cardstock that I don't have out. It's just a scrap of Very Vanilla. So I've got some Very Vanilla thick here, so I'm just going to use that. And I'm using Missing You, that is from the Loyal Leaves. So I am going to stamp it down here. That's just a little too narrow, just by a little bit. We'll give that a few seconds to set. And when it is, I'm going to use my Pick a Punch, the banner ends. I'm going to trim this down to 1/2 inch, just using my itty bitty trimmer. I might actually have could have left myself some more room at that end, but okay, so I'm going to start by taking a little bit off the bottom, and I want to go fairly close to the G and the Y. And then on this little paper trimmer, I just go a hair shy of that, of hitting, it's on the steel plate right now, and then there's some plastic. So I'm just on that steel plate still. You could use any kind of trimmer that you want. I just love the precision of this one. Okay, so now I'm going to pop this in here, and anytime I'm using this one, I go that sliver shy of 1/2 inch, 3/4 inch, or 1 inch, just because then it fits in here properly. So we're going to need one more off there. So I'm pushing it towards the top so that it's the same each time, and then do the same thing on this end. We're probably going to have to do 2 there as well. And if you noticed, I pushed to the top on that side and to the bottom on that side. I could have taken a little bit more off the bottom, but it's fine. So now we can take our belly band, which, like I said, is 1 inch by 11 inches. And we're going to, you could totally score this, but I actually prefer to make my belly bands just by manually folding it. And I went a little too tight on that one, so I want to leave myself just a tiny bit more room, so I'll move it just like a hair over and then line it up. And I'm folding it right to the edge here, but I've given myself a little bit of a buffer on the other side. Now, it would help if I had folded them straight. And then what I will do is I'm just going to use some of my Stampin' Seal on this end. I know it's vellum and we're going to see it, but I'll just take a little bit there. It's not my finest folding job. It's very crooked. Okay. So there we go, and it slides quite easily. So the first thing we want to do is take this leaf, which is the one that matches there, and we're going to glue that right onto the vellum. I will tell you that is not the way I did it the first time, but it's because I realized pretty late in the game that I wanted this one on there. So I'm going to use my Stampin' Seal again and place this one down. I can tell you this already is a lot easier than the way I did it the first time. Okay, so it doesn't necessarily need to lock in there, but we do want it to follow that same pattern, especially because the stitching is only on the outside. And now we can start layering our leaves. Now, the reason I had this Very Vanilla one the first time was because I didn't have this one, and I felt like I needed a bit more depth. So I'm going to fold this one, and I may take the stem down. We're going to put it don't put your glue too high. You don't want it gluing your card closed. We've just gone through all that to not have it closed. trim this down. And we'll just start building up those leaves. And if you give them a bit of a fold in the middle, it will help them look more realistic. We don't want to completely cover that leaf underneath. I just love the stitching in these. And I may not need 2 of these this time, again, because I did everything the hard way on this card. This one was pretty buried, so I chose to add another one. But that may not be the case this time, because I'm going to put it up higher. We don't see a whole lot of that very vanilla leaf, but that's okay. So the other thing I did the hard way, of course, was I put my gilded gems down and then decided I was doing my sentiment like this, so had to move those. And of course, the gold trim, I decided like kind of last minute, so that was more difficult. Honestly, you're getting the tested and like the tried and true version of this, so learn from my mistakes. If you don't follow me on Facebook, totally switching gears here, I just posted my next bingo. I'm doing a bingo on Saturday, October 17th. So for those of us in Canada, and that's where I can sell, my bingo is only open to those in Canada. It is the weekend after Thanksgiving. I know I had been pondering the 10th, but 1, I'm going to my dad's for Thanksgiving, and 2, it's Thanksgiving, and I hesitate to do anything on a holiday long weekend because I know people are with their family, they're tied up, they're just not able to participate the way they might be able to otherwise. Okay, with this one, I think I'm going to pop it up on a mini just so that it stays adhered without being completely flat. There we go. Let's pull this over this leaf. There we go. Can't really see that tiny loop, but that's okay. So now the other thing I want to do is I want to put some minis on here. And I put them right on the card the last time, but it was going straight. It was a lot easier. So I think I will just keep them on the sentiment strip this time, and we will do 3. Actually, we probably don't need that second one, because it's going to go right where we just put that one. Haven't worked out all the kinks, but definitely far less than it was the first time. Okay, so pop those off. This could have been longer this time, but that didn't occur to me because I didn't have it on an angle the last time. Okay, we need one more mini in there because this is popping right up. Okay. And now we're going to take those beautiful gilded gems and we're going to put one on either end of that banner. If you don't have the gilded gems, you need them. You definitely need them. I do find though that I don't use these big ones because they're just too big, but I think they would make great buttons. For what? I don't know, but okay. I think we're done. So now you can slide this off. It's not going to be the easiest belly band you've ever slid off, but I mean, that wasn't so bad, right? And then if you want, you can put another sentiment on the inside. I figured having Missing You could be used for so many things. So I chose to leave mine blank on both of them. But I just love how it looks like a Canadian flag. Maybe less so with that off-kilter maple leaf, but I don't know. Is that a maple leaf? It is for our intents and purposes. Okay, so there is my sample. And again, my apologies for the lighting. And then there it is without the belly band on it. And it will stand. It's not going to be the most secure freestanding card that you've ever seen, but I hope that you enjoyed that. I hope that if you don't already have the Love of Leaves bundle and Loyal Leaves, because I really don't think it's been a crowd favorite. There certainly isn't a lot of ideas out there. But like I said, I will link to the video below or up here that I did in the past. And I hope that you will give it some consideration because it really is a great set. If you've been watching me for any time, you know that I'm a sucker for mixed fonts. And this has it like older and wiser. Seriously? Yes, please. Anyways, if you haven't hit that subscribe button, please consider doing so. I drop a new video each and every week. Make it sound all fancy, huh? I release a new video each and every week, so please consider hitting that subscribe button. I'll give you a quick peek of my nails. I know the lighting is terrible. Let's turn on this one. So my manicure this week is Echoes of Paris. I actually just did it today, and I did some nail stamping. So currently GelMoment doesn't have nail stamping. I ordered this on Amazon, but we will very soon. So that is just some white polish with a stamp on it. So if you would like to recreate this manicure, it is Echoes of Paris, and then I can link to the nail plate that I ordered. Okay, so we'll see you again soon, my crafty friends. Bye.